How's it going?
Good, Dan, man. How are you?
Great. Thank
Good.
you.
Well, I appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know you guys are busy and excited about the new album coming out November 18th.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years since Evolution came out, and I'd say, and I think you'd agree that the world has there's been an evolution in the world. The world has evolved a
Quite a
bit
bit.
4 years, yeah, a little bit. Whether
Yeah.
we're talking politics or pandemic or whatever, how much I know that what's going on in the world influences what Disturbed does and what Disturbed writes. How much did the last 4 years kind of affect this new album, Divisive?
Uh, in a big way. Obviously, with the whole world having hit the pause button and not knowing what this pandemic was going to be and turn out to be, and just stopping all of our lives, not just our lives, but obviously the music industry being affected by it in a large way because our whole livelihood is based off of contact, being in front of thousands of people. So it obviously was a one of the later career choices for us to make a comeback. Obviously it was harder for that to get out of this pandemic and find out what live entertainment was going to be and what restrictions there may be. So it was challenging, for all of us, our crew members, everybody that, their whole livelihood was taken away from them. And, my heart goes out to a lot of guys that worked for us and for other artists that had to go out and find new jobs, during that whole time and a new career path. But so it was challenging, it was challenging, mentally. It kind of had an effect on me dealing with it and having that the live show taken away from us. And it's always been therapeutic for us. That's why we write music and do it. It's our outlet and our way to seek that therapy, and we went through a difficult time. I know Mike, our drummer, went through a divorce and early on in the pandemic. I went through a divorce earlier this year. It was, a tough time. It affected our personal lives. And then obviously all the changes in the world and politically and things going on here in the US, it's become quite a mess and quite the division amongst each other. Everything you see on social media, it's just become a mess. It's pretty disgusting. It's sad to see like the division that has been going on here and how we've all it's like people wake up in the morning like they can't wait to get on social media to see what they could bitch about and who they could, we're just so divided, and it's like if you don't believe what I believe, then I hate you, and you're a racist and you're a homophobe and you're, just the name calling, and it's just an ugly time right now.
It's interesting you mentioned that. We had that conversation earlier at the radio station. We, as a radio station, a terrestrial radio station, provide a free service. You can get in your car anywhere in the country and find a radio station. Yet still, every day, somebody bitches about something we provide them for free. And there's on our social media channels, and I'm sure you guys have it too,
Uh,
people that don't like what we do not like the station, hate what we do, hate us, whatever. They're the first ones in the comments. They're the first ones saying something like, dude, how do you go through life waking up every morning being such a miserable person?
I know. It's just shocking to me, and now I see it within friendships and family members, and people are at that much at odds to where it's affected, those close relationships. Not just the strangers that could hide behind the keyboard, in their mom's basement and spew out their hatred towards it. But it's I don't know. It's just really disappointing to see people torn apart, a country torn apart like this. Um, and I think we need to take a step back and take a look at the way we've been acting. We're called the United States. We're not really acting all that united in the past couple of years. So
And I know you've talked about in other interviews that sort of the goal of Divisive is to unite everybody, is to bring people together, because that's sort of the power of music is, whatever I believe in and you believe in, and the thousands of fans you're playing in front of at the Soaring Eagle Casino here in Mount Pleasant believe in. Everybody can come together and have a good time. And Divisive is sort of that album that you hope is going to bring everybody back together.
I mean, we hope so. We've always tried to stay positive. Even we try to take a lot of negative content and turn it a positive spin on it to the best of our ability. It might not be every song, but we just try to and that's the thing, the power of music, like you said, it brings people into a room, into a venue, and you don't care about race and religion and sexuality, and it doesn't matter, your political views. We go for an escape to put all that stuff to the side and get away from it. And so we can get together, we can unite, we can find common ground somewhere, and music's just a good outlet for that, to just put those differences aside, go in there and enjoy the moment, get lost in the music, sing those songs together, united. And so it does have a powerful place, in all of our lives. I think people turn to music for many reasons. It's just therapeutic for them as well, for the fans as well.
And I know people are excited for the new album Divisive out on November 18th. It's been 4 years since the last album came out. And David has talked about this album. I've had the chance to listen to the album already. And I think he described it pretty well. 90% heavy AF, but still 10% caring, loving goodness. How do you guys find that balance of playing the heavy stuff? And there are some heavy songs on this album. How do you find that balance between the fans that maybe discovered Disturbed on Sound of Silence and the fans that have been there since The Sickness 20 plus years ago now?
Well, it's funny. I always get, me and David likes to speak a little too soon, and he'll be saying, yeah, it's 90% heavy. And I'm like, wait, we didn't even write any songs yet. I go, we have good intention.
We got to write one that's not so heavy. Damn it.
I'm like, you're setting me up here. I got to write this stuff first, and then we can describe it. But, I like his enthusiasm, and, how excited he gets about, what potentially we're going to, be making. And luckily in this case, that was the case. Obviously, with Evolution being a split record of acoustic tracks, and taking a bit of a departure and trying some other avenues, it was fun for us. It was fun to be experimental and just show different flavors of the band. But now that we did that, we wanted to come back around with this more heavier signature Disturbed of that old school sound from The Sickness or 10,000 Fists. I see a lot of people comparing some of it to those songs. There's just something about just heavy guitar riffs with the syncopated drums, and getting more of that animalistic David back in some of this material. And obviously with today's worldly events, there's plenty to be angry about. There's plenty to want to have something to capture that energy and that angst in this material. And and then when we were looking for a producer, I just started searching out. We thought it was time to try to find a new marriage. We did 2 albums with Kevin Churchill, Immortalized and Evolution, and it was a great experience. And but it was time to move from that and try to find somebody else. And I found Drew Falk, the producer of this album. And, I just thought the marriage between what he was doing, what he's currently doing with bands like Motionless in White and Wage War, and then, some other one-off songs like with Papa Roach and Pop Evil and stuff. But I liked his production elements. And I thought if we could marry the two of like some of his great production ideas, it was a more modern element, a little bit industrial, sounds that we grew up on here in Chicago with the big industrial scene. And then, that married with signature Disturbed elements, I thought would hopefully make a great album. And that was the case. We went in there and we just clicked right away. The chemistry was great. And we felt like every day there was just more progress working together.
Yeah, you've got the first single, Hey You, was another #1 for you. Second single follows that up with Bad Man. You've released Unstoppable already, and you've already sort of hinted at the big surprise that's on the album, and that is getting Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Ann Wilson of Heart to perform on a song on the album. And this is the first time you guys have ever had a guest. So why this many albums in do you go, you know what? Ann Wilson, let's try and get Ann Wilson, or does this just sort of pop up? How does this all happen?
Well, we've been around the block a few times now. I think that at this far along in our career, we always push each other, to inspire each other. And we thought, hey, it would be a great time, to maybe start, being open to the ideas of maybe a collaboration or guest appearance. And, as we were writing this song, well, I had another semi ballad that I was working on, and David was working on, and I just didn't feel like it was quite there yet. I thought this was going to take some massaging and getting it to the point to where it's a home run, and it just felt like it was going to, take a little bit more effort. So I came in one day and said, I'm going to start over. I want to just fresh, be creative, and start with the whole new idea, and started writing the music to Don't Tell Me. And it was just coming together really well. It was just me and Drew that day. And then when David came back in, we said, hey, we kind of backburnered the other idea. We started fresh with this. And he just started listening to it. And almost immediately he just starts, scatting a melody. And it was just a much bigger hook. It just felt huge. And then as he's kind of finalizing that melody, he's like, wow, this sounds like it could be, a duet. And he's like, what do you think if we try to reach out to Ann Wilson? And the reason behind that, first of all, Ann's a rock legend, one of the best female vocalists in music history. And a few years back, she had tweeted about our band. Somebody asked her in an interview, like, what was there anything current that was out that she found inspiring? And she said, Disturbed, The Sound of Silence, when we first released that. So we were just excited that she knew the name of the band. We're like, hey, she knows it. So her and David had talked a little bit on social media since then, here and there, just mutual respect. And then when this song was finalizing with the melodies and that, and David said, hey, what do you think about Anna? I'm like, yeah, reach out to her and ask her. It doesn't hurt to see. And she jumped on the idea right away. And it was just great. We said, we'll fly out. We'll make it convenient as we can for her. She was kind of traveling around on the West Coast. So we flew out to San Francisco, jumped into a studio. She came out totally professional, willing to do whatever we asked of her, but we wanted to give her the opportunity to do what she does, and give her some freedom to roll with it. And, I was just sitting there in the control room, just watching her and David work out the harmonies. It was just like a crazy moment. I just felt like a little kid just witnessing like such a big moment. I keep using the Step Brothers line, it sounded like Fergie and Jesus together. But no, in all seriousness, it was just such an amazing moment. I think she hung out for about 3 hours just working out the parts and then recording it. And she left there, and I'm just thinking like, holy, that really just happened. It's just like, it was just such a cool moment. I'm still like excited just talking about it because, I can't wait for the fans to hear it. And I think the old school fans that grew up to Heart and Ann will appreciate it and respect it because she's such a legend. And I think the younger Disturbed ones will probably be open to to wanting to maybe go back and discover Heart for the first time, and see what an amazing vocalist she is. And she still has those chops, those vocal chops. She's amazing.
It's interesting. We talked about the negativity of social media, and then now here we are talking about the greatness of social media because this is what it was meant to do. It was meant to connect people. This doesn't happen if Ann Wilson doesn't talk about Disturbed and David doesn't connect with her, and now here we are, and you've got a song with her.
Yeah, well, yeah, you nailed it on the head. There can be some good with social media. That was the case. I mean, when can you ever reach out to a legendary rock star and get a response? So that's pretty damn cool on that end of things. So.
New album November 18th. I know nothing's been announced yet, but everybody knows that new album means tour dates. I know you guys did shows over the summer and you played a couple of festivals here and there, but I suspect that as we approach the release of the album, we'll have tour dates, right?
I'm hoping so. We've seen it, on paper. We've agreed to, to some shows that we would really love to do. It just now it's in the hands of management and the promoters and our booking agent to make it all happen. So from the band's side of things, we're all signed off and we're good to go. We want to hit the road and we want to play, the whole catalog as much as we can for the fans, but especially to get back out there and have some of the new material to play for the first time.
Yeah, we are looking forward to it. November 18th, the brand new album Divisive from Disturbed will be out. And Dan, man, I appreciate you taking some time. I know you got a bunch of these to do today. Looking forward to hearing the album when it hits. I was going to say hit stores. That doesn't really, when it's available to be downloaded, streamed, whatever, when it's out coming up on November 18th. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you, brother.
All right. See ya.